reimagining the car design process really from start to finish, the car experience of buying a car all the way to manufacturing, and of course the car itself. Well, that's some of the stuff that was just talked about. Alain, you sat in on the panel. Of course, Danny was one of the panelists. Why don't you start off and kind of give us your thoughts, Alain, and bring in Danny into the conversation?
Well, yes, I thought it was a very interesting discussion, really stating in terms of where the innovation could be now in the whole creation of vehicles, really starting from the design process all the way to the manufacture and their eventual sale in the showroom or over the web. And Danny was part of the discussion, and Danny, why don't you make some of your points as to they made some very well.
Well, I think it's exciting how the whole auto industry is embracing digitalization. We're taking what used to be sort of offline processes, physical processes, and being able to move them into the cloud, essentially, and be able to remote into the cloud, to design the cars, do it all digitally, to be able to take those designs, bring in generative AI to modify or enhance those designs, be able to take that design into engineering and figure out, well, how do you build this car, then take it into the whole factory of the future. Again, a digital twin of the actual factory, which you can lay out in our Omniverse or other simulation platforms, lay out the factory so it's optimized, make sure that the robots moving around and swinging don't hit each other, and really do that planning up front so that when you build the factory and run the factory, it goes smoothly. And then you take all that same data and you can then use that for the marketing and sales of the car as well. So virtual reality could be part of that experience. Just all 100% digital commercials that can be customized. You configure the car and then you see it drive in your town, and so really it's a fun way. All the way even to, sales and support. That same digital model can be used to train the service people or help you do your own maintenance on the vehicle. So it's a continuous workflow all based on a single digital model of that vehicle, and everything that's inside, even the software that's running in the car, can be simulated and experienced.
It's amazing, the virtualization, should we call it the gaming of the,
it's gaming technology. It is absolutely.
It is amazing.
Being able to take ray tracing technology from the movies, from gaming, to create realistic visuals. Now, in real time, it used to be you have to render this stuff overnight. Now you can interact with it, and so I can customize my vehicle, the look and feel, the design, add options to it. It really helps the automakers too. They end up selling more full-featured cars when you and I can actually say, oh, I want that lane-keeping feature, or I want the advanced cruise control, or the autopilot, whatever it may be. You can actually experience that and see what it's like with and without that option or that software purchase before you even buy the car.
It's just amazing, and it just allows one to be able to explore, to try things. Some things will turn out to be, hey, cool, we should stay away from that, or to be able to go out and be able to determine how do we deal with situations in which it's really challenging. One of the things that wasn't mentioned, and I know why it wasn't mentioned earlier, I like to claim that the safety aspect of cars is more due to our misbehavior in using them than them not really being designed well or not being able to perform well. And to me, the being able to address this misbehavior problem and keep me from misbehaving, try to keep me under some sort of.
That's going to be hard, Alain.
I know that one is hard, but in fact, to me, that's where some real opportunities.
I think driver monitoring, occupant monitoring is a big part now of AI. The sensors inside the car deliver convenience applications, but also a lot of safety applications, and merging the AI in the car and outside. So the car recognizes there's something out there that potentially is a hazard, and could recognize that you're not paying attention, and the car can then step in or alert you or do more than just generic. And so if you're focused and paying attention, that's great. If you're not, it's going to let you know that you have work to do. Now, once the car is driving itself, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but let's not go to here. I mean, let's see. But because that, to me, that's a whole different business.
For sure.
That is, the giving rides to people is a different business than me giving myself a ride. I think we're focused on me, you giving yourself a ride, and let's focus on that. But I was appreciative in the conversation that everyone agreed that when it's dealing with safety, people should be cooperating. We know we have antitrust situations, and we know that we need to avoid collusion and all those things. But to me, the safety situation, come on, either Congress or somebody needs to make sure that allows us all to cooperate on safety, because you can be the scenarios.
That's exactly it.
We don't know which scenarios
We want to make sure that everyone is working from that same database of scenarios. Are you testing, the stop signs, the stoplights, the yields, the lane shape, it goes on and on and on.
So being under your car. I mean, look at what happened in San Francisco.
Right.
Nobody knew.
Right.
Nobody
So I think this is
thought.
going to continue to evolve, but I think the key thing is to build out this exhaustive list, and it will continue to evolve, of what that vehicle needs to be able to do to sort of get that stamp of approval to have an autopilot on the highway or an urban autopilot or whatever.
And to share that among all the folks that are working on this, because in the end, safety is the responsibility of all of us going to combine, because if one of us isn't, then of course everybody rolls their eyes about everybody else.
I think this is where simulation really comes into play, is being able to have this exhaustive test, use whatever simulator you want, whether it's ours or somebody else's, but the key thing is everyone needs to pass that very high bar to put their cars on.
Absolutely, because to do that in reality, I mean, first of all, how many stunt drivers? Whatever. And then in the movies, it's all virtual reality anyway. In the movies, they don't really do that stuff, do they? In some of the things they do, I guess not.
One of the other themes, and you kind of touched upon this with the sharing of data and so forth, but in the panel, connectivity seemed to be an important thing for their updates, but also APIs, having the ability to connect between different types of software and stuff from different manufacturers. I don't know if you care to comment on that.
Yeah, I think to me, connectivity is table stakes. Of course, every car will be connected, so that's not a big deal. Increasing bandwidth is great. I think ideally we could benefit, of course, from vehicle to infrastructure, vehicle to vehicle. I think it's going to be a long way before that really is super useful, because it kind of has to be everywhere before you're not going to rely on it. One thing I think that would be really helpful, though, is when you have autonomous vehicles, if things that are normally part of the roadway, so it could be construction, it could be emergency vehicles, if those anomalies are broadcasted for those AVs, I think that would really be helpful. Ultimately, sure, we may get to everyone, but that's going to need to be mandated for vehicle infrastructure in place. It's a huge cost. And even communities, one community has it and the next community doesn't, it really doesn't benefit that much. I think the other key thing, though, is talking about these scenarios. If we create this system whereby everyone is working towards that same standard, if there are these common APIs that people could then use to ingest that data and use that, I think that would be really helpful.
I think what the other comments we made is that of all the data by each of these OEMs or cars, they're probably not going to share everything. I sort of agree with you. But if they trip over some safety aspects, collecting those data, if they can, it will behoove everybody to say, I mean, they should utter just for the goodness of their hearts.
And I
say,
think
look, and I think they do. And I think they do.
If you look at technologies like seatbelts, like airbags, all of that, it quickly becomes so. If there is techniques, if there's situations, other safety features, I think we'll quickly see that adopted.
Yeah, and I think that's all very good. That, again, we shouldn't be competing on safety.
Right.
We compete, we differentiate ourselves on a lot of other things, but safety can't be one of them categories.
So that was a great conversation, and of course it just touches the surface really of the complexity of it. But Danny, it's always great to have you on this, and Alain, your leadership in driving us forward.
Yeah, I'm just trying, and congratulations on all the advances and the contributions. I mean, really,
we're just really excited about the ways now AI, generative AI, is really helping to improve all these different workflows and increase safety.
Absolutely.
Excellent.